Welcome back to another in-depth review on two-wheel trends, where we bring you the latest insights on the most exciting motorcycles of the year. Today, we're diving deep into a machine that merges blacked-out cruiser aesthetics with Honda's legendary reliability. It's a bike that doesn't scream for attention but instead commands it with its stealthy presence and muscular build of the 2025 Honda Shadow Phantom. If you're into old-school cruiser vibes with modern-day dependability, this one's gonna hit you right in the feels. The Shadow Phantom has always been that underrated dark horse in Honda's cruiser lineup, and the 2025 model pushes that identity even further. Right off the bat, it's clear that Honda didn't try to reinvent the wheel here. They've chosen refinement over reinvention, and it works. The Shadow Phantom keeps its classic low-slung stance, matte finishes, and minimalist detailing intact, but they've added just enough subtle tweaks to keep it fresh and relevant for 2025. Let's start by talking about how the Spike looks when it's standing still. Up front, the Shadow Phantom sports a blacked-out, round halogen headlight that's tucked neatly into the triple clamps. It's not flashy, there's no LED matrix or modern DRL here, but that's kind of the point. The headlight keeps things old school. The forks are thick and sturdy looking, with rubber gaiters that not only give off retro vibes but also offer practical protection. The front fender is chopped short, hugging the front tire in a way that screams bobber influence, and the wide front tire sitting on a blacked-out 17-inch wheel gives the whole front end a beefy, aggressive presence. When you move to the side, the silhouette of the Shadow Phantom is low, long, and unmistakably cruiser. The teardrop fuel tank is sculpted just enough to provide some visual interest without going overboard, and it flows smoothly into a one-piece gunfighter-style seat that's set low at just about 25.8 inches. That low seat height is one of the biggest reasons the Shadow Phantom is such a favorite among beginner and intermediate cruiser riders. It makes you feel like you're sitting in the bike, not on top of it, and that does wonders for confidence, especially in slow-speed maneuvers or when stopped at traffic lights. The blacked-out engine cases, exhaust pipes, and wheels all blend into the Phantom stealth theme perfectly. And Honda didn't just paint them black, they've gone for a textured matte finish that adds depth and a premium feel. There's just the slightest touch of chrome on the engine fins and the rear shocks, enough to break up the monochrome without clashing. The dual exhaust pipes sweep along the right side of the bike, ending in short/cut mufflers that look aggressive but not overdone. Looking at the bike from behind, the Shadow Phantom keeps things tight and tidy. The rear fender hugs the 15-inch rear tire and ends in a simple round taillight. It's a minimal rear view, with tiny bullet-shaped turn signals and a side-mounted license plate bracket. Again, it's not fancy, but it all contributes to that strip-back, no-nonsense bobber style that the Phantom pulls off so well. The twin rear shocks are exposed, and the rear wheel has that deep dishy cruiser look that really drives home the bike's slow and mean attitude. Now, under all that blacked-out style is the heart of the Phantom, a tried-and-true 745cc liquid-cooled V-twin engine. This isn't some fire-breathing monster that's going to yank your arms out of their sockets, but that's not what it's trying to be. What you get here is smooth, predictable, torquey performance that's ideal for both new riders and veterans who appreciate an easygoing, no-drama cruiser. The engine delivers its peak torque low in the rev range around 3,000 rpm, which means you don't have to work it hard to get satisfying pull off the line or during roll-on acceleration. It's all about that relaxed, low-end grunt that cruiser fans love. This V-twin has a single-pin crankshaft that gives it a nice bit of character in the exhaust note, a kind of mellow, loping rumble that's distinctly cruiser without being obnoxious. And speaking of the exhaust, the Phantom's dual pipes give off a satisfying, deep tone that's rich and present without crossing into loud or droning territory. It's the kind of sound that makes you want to take the long way home every time. The engine is paired to a 5-speed gearbox that shifts with typical Honda smoothness. The clutch is light and predictable, and the gear ratios are perfectly matched to the engine's power band. You can comfortably cruise at highway speeds in top gear without feeling like you're wringing the bike's neck, and there's enough torque to let you ride in higher gears around town without needing to downshift constantly. The shaft drive is another huge plus. It's clean, reliable, and requires way less maintenance than a chain or belt, which makes the Phantom even more appealing as a daily rider. On the road, the 2025 Shadow Phantom delivers a ride that's relaxed, stable, and confidence-inspiring. The bike's geometry favors easy handling. With a rake of 34 degrees and a long 64.6-inch wheelbase, it tracks straight and true, especially at higher speeds. But even with that cruiser geometry, the bike is surprisingly nimble in low-speed turns and parking lot maneuvers. The handlebars are pulled back and wide, giving you good leverage, and the overall riding position is classic cruiser: feet forward, hands just below shoulder height, back straight. Suspension-wise, the Phantom keeps it simple with 41mm front forks and dual rear shocks with 5-step preload adjustability. It's not a plush setup by any means, but it does a good job of soaking up most road imperfections. The rear shocks can be a bit firm over big bumps, especially if you're on the heavier side or carrying a passenger, but for solo riding it strikes a good balance between comfort and control. Braking is handled by a single 296mm disc up front with a twin-piston caliper and a drum brake at the rear. This setup isn't cutting edge, but it gets the job done for a cruiser of this size and weight. The front brake offers decent initial bite and progressive stopping power, while the rear drum is more for stability and low-speed modulation. And yes, ABS is standard for 2025, which adds a nice layer of safety and is especially useful for newer riders. In terms of performance, the Shadow Phantom isn't going to blow anyone away in a straight line, but it's got just enough juice to keep things interesting. The 0 to 60 miles per hour time is somewhere in the mid 5-second range, and the bike cruises happily at 70 to 80 miles per hour all day long. There's enough power for highway overtakes, and the engine doesn't feel buzzy or stressed even at sustained higher speeds. Top speed is just north of 100 miles per hour, though you're more likely to be riding in that sweet 40 to 70 miles per hour zone where the Phantom feels most at home. Fuel economy is another strong suit. Honda claims around 56 miles per gallon, and real-world results are often in the high 40s to low 50s depending on how you ride. With a 3.9-gallon tank, that gives you a solid range of around 180 to 200 miles between fill-ups, making this a great option for weekend getaways or even light touring with a few mods. Now let's talk price. The 2025 Honda Shadow Phantom comes in at around $8,399. That's a seriously competitive price for a full-size cruiser with liquid cooling, shaft drive, and Honda build quality. When you consider what you're getting in terms of style, reliability, and ease of ownership, it's hard to argue with the value here. And that price point puts it squarely in reach for newer riders who want a real-deal cruiser experience without breaking the bank. There's also the matter of how well built this bike feels. Everything from the paint finish to the switchgear to the seat material feels solid and well put together. The fit and finish is typical Honda tight tolerances, no rattles, no cheap-feeling parts. The seat is supportive enough for longer rides, and while you might want to upgrade if you plan on doing multi-day tours, it's more than adequate for daily riding and weekend cruising. As for customization, the Shadow Phantom lends itself well to mods. Whether you want to throw on a solo seat, swap the bars for a more aggressive stance, or add saddlebags and a windshield for light touring, there's plenty of aftermarket support out there. Honda even offers a range of official accessories including passenger seats, luggage racks, and custom trim pieces to help you make the Phantom your own. So who's this bike really for? Honestly, it hits a wide range. New riders will love the low seat, manageable power, and easy handling. Returning riders will appreciate the classic styling and reliable performance. And even seasoned cruiser fans might find it hard to resist the Phantom's no-frills, all-attitude appeal. It's the kind of bike that doesn't demand attention but turns respect. The kind that gets nods at stoplights not because it's flashy, but because it just looks right. In a world where everything seems to be going bigger, faster, and flashier, the 2025 Honda Shadow Phantom sticks to its guns. It doesn't chase trends up, it defines its own lane. It's a bike for riders who know what they want, who appreciate clean lines, functional performance, and an honest riding experience. It's not the most powerful, Not the most high-tech, and not the most expensive cruiser out there, but that's exactly why it works. The 2025 Shadow Phantom is more than just a motorcycle. It's a mood, a vibe, a statement that sometimes less really is more. And when that less comes wrapped in matte black with the rumbling V-twin and the kind of reliability only Honda can deliver, it's hard not to be impressed. Whether you're rolling through the city, cruising down the coast, or just enjoying a sunset ride on your favorite back road, the Shadow Phantom has your back. Thanks for riding with us today on Two Wheel Trends. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2025 Honda Shadow Phantom, hit that like button, subscribe for more honest reviews and road-tested impressions, and let us know in the comments what bike you want us to feature next. Ride safe, ride smart, and we'll catch you in the next one.